Hi everyone, it's Vicki here today and I am designing for Bramble Fox. I'm using the June Fox box and I'm using the rainbow and collect memories and some other bits and pieces from the store. There's a few different perspectives on this. So I gathered together some pieces from my stash, mostly Dear Lizzie collection, and I wanted to put together a nice summery floral layout to go with the rainbow. So I've got this paper which is sort of tiled, and I cut three of the different colours into little squares. I'm not quite sure where I'm going with the layout at this point in time. I'm just going for it because, you know, I have these matching pieces of paper and I think that I'll do something with it. So just watching this, I've speeded it up quite a bit so that you can watch through it with me and see what I'm doing. So I cut three of each of the colours that I'm going for, and once I've done that I pull out this floral piece of paper and decide to cut some flowers from that. Okay, so super speedy cutting for a second, and then I'll cut through. You won't have to watch all of them being cut out. So still at this point in time I have no idea what I'm going to do. So sometimes I do that, just start out with a photo and no idea of where I'm going, and it just sort of comes together. So and you'll see where I go with it in a second. So all those flowers are cut out now, and I feel like I want to do something vertically on the page. So I just sort of spread the flowers out, grab out a frame and think that I quite like the look of that, but at the moment I haven't done anything with the squares, so I'm going to have to find something to do with them. So I move all the flowers off, put the frame back, so the frame's going to go in the middle like that, and I decide to put the squares randomly above and below the photo, not in any particular colour order, just like that. Okay, and so that's going to form a base for where I have my flowers. So that's kind of what's going on in my head at the minute. So you'll see I start to build. So I'll put some of the flowers that were cut from the edge just around the frame there, and some of the other flowers will be just around the page. So this changes slightly on the finished layout, but this is sort of more or less where everything's going. So I like the feel of that. And now I'm going to try and figure out where I'm going to put my rainbow. So first of all, I bring it back on, all the pieces, and then I think that I don't like that darker pink on the layout because it doesn't really go. And then ultimately, I think in a few seconds, I decide that the yellow is not quite right either. So I just leave the two pieces, and which is nice because I've still got two pieces of rainbow to use on another layout. And then I just take off the plastic covering from this Collect Memories perspective, and while I'm doing that I actually break it in half by mistake, but that's okay because I'm going to stick it down. You wouldn't even know once it's stuck down. So I play with the position of that as well, and it takes me a little while to figure out where I'm going to ultimately put it. So yeah, that's sort of similar to the final layout, but I'm going to start to stick down these squares in situ so that they'll stay when I start to move everything else, because I liked the positioning of them. It worked well, so yeah, just sticking those. Now one of the top hangs off a little, so off camera I do cut that off, but yeah, sometimes that happens. Okay, so I've got some vellum here, so I'm going to back my photo with a bit of vellum before putting it into the frame. And I'm also going to put some foam on the back. Here we go. So that's just sticky one side and foamy the other side. It's just in the children's section usually of the craft store. I get it at the range here in the UK, so that. So I'm sticking those two pieces of frame together, and while that's happening, I'm just going to put some foam onto some of these flowers that are around the page, just to pop them up. So the ones that are on their own on the page will be popped up with foam, and the ones that are tucked under the frame in the middle won't be. Okay, so those two bits of frame set together. I kind of wondered if that was sticky back, and then I tried to peel it off and realised it wasn't. So yeah, just stick that down with glue. And use my ATG gun to stick down my photo. Okay, so that photo is a few years old actually. It's of my my niece Chloe, and she's just really lovely in photographs, and she's now 20. I want to say 20. So this is a few years old, but I'm struggling for photos during lockdown, and so I'm going back to some oldies that I haven't scrapped for a while. So okay, so still playing with where I'm going to put that, and I decide then to put it at the top above the flowers, just because on the white it didn't really show very well, but on the flower at the top you can see it a bit better. So I'm going to put my rainbow there and the flowers at the top, and I'm going to put another flower down the bottom here just to fill that space where the title would have gone. So there we go. Now pull out my Beacon 3-in-1 glue to stick down my perspectives. Sticks on nicely. And I go to stick down Collect Memories, and I make a terrible, horrible mess. Gloopy, yucky mess. So I have to clean that up. For like a wet wipe to do that. But I managed to clean it up, and then I go again with the glue. It's a bit thinner than the rainbow, so it wasn't the easiest to put the glue onto. Excuse my head. Oh, my roots need dyeing in a big way. My hairdresser contacted me by text the other day and said that I can have an appointment soon. So, yay! She's going to cry when she sees my hair. I cry every time I look at it. Anyway, I digress. I pull out a few of these embellishments. I have those buttons. I don't actually use those, but I use some of these little enamel dots, and I stick them onto the little squares in coordinating colours, just to add a bit of bling there. I think about using some stickers, but I think I have enough really on the page, so I don't use any of those in the end. And then I go to these perspectives and I add a hashtag in front of Collect Memories. And I also add two little plus signs. And I think about using the ampersand, but I can't find anywhere to put it, so I don't use that one in the end. My dog's just come into the room for a cuddle while I'm doing this voiceover, so if you hear him making any noise, you'll know why. He wants my attention. He can't have it at this current second. Okay, so I've just taken the plastic off of those two plus signs, and now I'm doing it off of the hashtag so that I can stick that down. There we go. So I'm happy with that. I think the next thing I do is to do some splatters. Yeah, so I pull out my Tim Holtz Distress inks, and I just put some onto a piece of plastic packaging, add a little bit of water to it, and then do some little splatters around the page. There we go. And finally, I have a little butterfly from Vicki, which I'm just going to stick on the corner of the photo, and that's it. That is the final layout. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope the layout gives you some inspiration for your Foxbox perspectives. There are a couple of close-ups here for you to have a look at. Yeah, please do subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.